All right, sports fans, welcome out to another episode of the Gridiron 64 podcast. This is part two of episode number 2. Yesterday, we had the breakdown for week number 1, and we also had our first coach. We did a Q&A with him. It was the Ingleside Athletic Director, head football coach Hunter Hamrick. The video was uploaded just earlier this afternoon, maybe around 4 or 5. So just go into the YouTube channel, GT Sports, and you can catch the video. It was great. We had a great time. We were able to break things down week 1, and then, do a Q&A with Coach Hamrick. And of course, we got to see how well the crew did with our predictions. I'm glad to say that after week 1, I'm in first place. I like that. Hopefully I can continue that. Today, we're going to preview week 2, the crew and I, and I've got the crew back in full effect. I've got the coach who knows it all and isn't scared to go out there and pick. He'll throw himself out there if he thinks the team is good, and he's not scared to put it out there, man. It's Coach Steve Cantu. Coach, how you doing this evening?
Blessed, brother. Happy to be here.
And then, of course, we got the big man, Big T, Tony Pena. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
And then we've got the man with the plan. That's what I'm going to call him, the man with the plan. The Z-Man. He's doing good 3 times. He's always doing good. Mr. Johnny Zavala. How you doing, Johnny?
Doing good.
All right. So,
Yes, sir.
like I said, we're going to preview week 2. I wasn't able to put the schedule out on the Gridiron 64 social media, Facebook and Twitter page. I've been a little ill. I'm starting to feel a little better, but it's going to take some time. I think I'm not 100%. I got a pretty bad cough. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to Tony. He's going to kind of lead us with the games and then go around, and we're all going to make our picks. So, T, I'm going to pass it over to you, man. You do your thing.
All right, y'all. So here on the Gridiron, the first game that we want to preview is, of course, the Rockport versus Corpus Christi King. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Steve first. What are your thoughts on that game, and what's your pick?
Well, guys, seeing how I need to make up some games, I'm still not gonna pick against Rockport. So, hey, I think Rockport comes at them at too many different angles. It's tough to play a team that has as much depth as Rockport does in the backfield. And, we're just now starting to, Ace is just starting to feel himself and feel the offense out. And I think Ace probably, puts the ball up in the air a few times, a few more times against King. And confidence will grow even more from there. I see Rockport winning this game. I don't think it's going to be a super blowout. I know the fans want it. We wish we could score 76 points every game, but that's obviously not going to happen. I see Rockport coming out, probably putting up 28-14 final score, Rockport.
All right. Johnny, what about you, Johnny? Who do you got?
Well, I'm obviously going to go with Rockport on this one. Just Rockport's coming off a hot win last week, and King played a pretty close game last week, but they gave up pretty much 200 yards rushing, and I just think giving up that many yards on the ground, that's our bread and butter right there, and I think we're just going to continue running over that defense. So easily with Rockport on this one.
Oh, Gabriel, what are your thoughts?
I'm going with Rockport. I agree with the guys. I think Rockport, I know we played Aransas last week, and it was a team that, with the new coach and a new system, but that doesn't take away from the team I thought Rockport was going to be. They showed last week exactly who I thought they were going to be, and I think King will be a better matchup for Rockport. But in the end, I'm going to agree with Johnny. I think the run is our bread and butter, and then we mix it in with the pass, makes this team more dangerous. I think Rockport wins 3 touchdowns plus.
All right. I think I'm gonna go ahead and agree with y'all too. King is a big school, and normally when you play those big schools, even though their record doesn't show uh how good a team is, especially, I mean, they're in a tough district. They're playing with CC Vets, they're playing with Flower Bluff. So it's really hard to gauge how good or how much work that team needs. But they're a bigger school than Rockport for sure. But if they're giving up 200 yards on the ground, Rockport has a lot of backs that could run. They got a quarterback that could run. The quarterback starting to throw some great passes through for over 100 yards last week. So I think Rockport is going to be too much for King. It's not going to be a 76-0 game like Steve said, but I think Rockport wins convincingly in week 2. Going on to game number 2 on the gridiron, we have AP versus Ingleside. So before we start on this, I just want to remind y'all, last year this game went into overtime, and Ingleside just took it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to Johnny first. Who do you got, Johnny?
That's exactly what I was going to mention. I remember last year we went straight to Ingleside just from right away. It was no doubt, Ingleside is going to take this one. Aransas didn't show us nothing when we played, even though we played so sloppy. Yeah, that is a good point right there. Those two teams, don't matter what their records are, those are going to go. They're going to go at it. And I remember seeing that overtime. They were going to overtime, and hey, it could happen again. But I think Ingleside's still going to have this one again this year.
All right. What are your thoughts, Steve? Who do you got?
Hey, well, I tell you what, I mean, AP's coach showed me a lot this weekend. 76-0, that's a tough game, man. And his boys played all the way through, all 4 quarters, every minute, of every quarter. And his coach and his coaching staff, what I'm saying, they stuck with the game plan. They they were not scoreboard watching. They had a game plan. This is who we are. They're trying to find an identity down there, and I think they're gonna stay with it. Whether the execution wasn't the best. There was plays to be made out there. We all saw the tape. There's tons of plays to be made on the field. With more work, I think the quarterback's gonna find his way. And as far as Ingleside goes, we all heard, from the coach. I mean, it was a tough week for them, losing as many coaches and players that they had out, backup players here, guys with cast there, and they're out there playing and fighting, and to come out with their win over Mathis, 15-10. You know what? I with all that being said, I'm still going to go with Ingleside. But hats off to here's the thing. I don't think they're gonna change. I don't think AP's not gonna change their offense from week 1 to week 2. So they're gonna stay with it. So to me, I think they're still searching, and Ingleside comes out with the win because of that. Because they're still trying to. I mean, they know who they are and they know who they want to be. They're just not. They're just haven't gotten to that point yet. So I got Ingleside winning. Gosh, I hope it's not, nobody wishes 76 points in 2 weeks, back to back to anybody. So I hope that Aransas gets in the end zone once or twice, for their boys' sakes and that program's sake. And, Ingleside, maybe, 3 scores.
All right. And Gabriel, who do you got on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ingleside. Listen, Aransas Pass and Ingleside, they play tough. And no matter which team is better than the other, they want to win. They wait every year for this matchup, and they've been playing it for a long time. But I take a different view on this. I think if Ingleside, and we heard Coach Hamrick yesterday talk about the some of the issues in week 1, and it appears that he's still going to possibly have some of those issues, which is hard. More responsibility goes on your coaches. When you don't have your full crew, it hurts you in many ways during the game. And Coach Hamrick kind of mentioned on some of the things he had to deal with. But I think if Ingleside wants to be looked upon as a team to be reckoned with, a force to be reckoned with, then they got to put it to Aransas Pass. They can't win 21-14. You can't win 14-10. They've got to come into this game like they can and pound them, and they don't got to beat them 70 something. You beat them 30 something to 7, 30. That's a good win. And I think that that's what Ingleside needs to do to prove to the district, hey, we're a top dog here, and we're coming after Rockport, and we're coming after Sinton, and we're coming after the Valley teams. Whoever's a top dog there, we're coming. And that's the only way I think you can do that in this district, to show the other teams we're coming. I said this yesterday, that Ingleside was up and coming, and I do believe, Tony's talked about this JV team last year and how they manhandled Rockport last year, and he was at this game. It's just scary. Because these are guys that are probably going to be with Ingleside in the next 2-3 years. And so I do believe that they're coming, and I think this game, we don't want to see Aransas Pass get blown out. But for Ingleside, if you want to prove that you belong with the big dogs and you can compete, then you've got to go take care of Aransas Pass. Rockport did it, and they need to come out and do it. I just hope that they're healthy enough. And I think for Aransas Pass, this is going to be a tough year for them. It's going to be a tough year for the coaches. We've talked about, we don't know the coaches, but they're going to take their licks this year. And that's okay. We're new and we're a new system. But you give them 2 years with the same coach, and we won't be talking about Aransas like we are this year. 2 years from now, 3 years from now, this is going to be an up and coming team. So they're probably going to take, their licks this year. And that's okay. But remember this, because when we come back, we're going to be dishing out some licks. So I think Aransas is going to be a long, tough year for them, especially in the district. They got a tough team. So I'm going Ingleside, but I'm looking for Ingleside to have to get a big win, 3 touchdowns plus. They need to do a 34-7, 28-0. They need something like that to really prove that, hey, we're coming after Rockport and Sinton.
All right. Well, this is what I'm going to say. And I said this yesterday, when Aransas Pass plays Rockport, they really, really want to win. That's a game on their calendar where they want a W for sure. Now, it hasn't happened for them the last 11 years or 10 or 11 years or whatever it is.
11 years.
But Ingleside, on the other hand, that's the team they really want to beat. They're 4 miles apart from each other. That's real hometown rivals right there. And last year with the game went into overtime and Ingleside just won. Well, let me tell you something. 2 years ago, Aransas Pass won that game 21-6. You know what I mean? And both seasons, Aransas Pass went 3-7. So, something happens in Aransas Pass. I don't know if it's with the fans or just the hype that the team has, but they want to beat Ingleside. You know what I mean? And like Steve said, when we watch film on that Aransas Pass Rockport game, we like being on the winning side of that game. But there was some holes in that defense where they could have put some points on the board or had some pretty big plays. Luckily that didn't happen because we have some good guys on there to plug in those holes. But against a team that's maybe not as stout as Rockport defensively, they could really surprise. They could really surprise some people. So, having said all of that, I'm still gonna go with Ingleside, but I'm gonna say the game is gonna be closer than everyone is saying. That's what I'm saying. Just based off of the last 2 years of history, they're 1-1 in the last 2 years. Each of them have a win. Aransas Pass win being bigger than Ingleside's win. So it's going to be a closer game than what everyone's saying. And I'm picking Ingleside anyways, but it's going to be a close one. I say 7 points probably separates the two teams or less.
Team God, Tony, you had me, baby. I was already ready to pull out my pom-poms. I was ready to switch teams. I was like, shit. Man, you took me on that long journey down the hill, La Verga, and all over the place, man. I thought we were going to be on the I thought we were going to pop up in Ingleside. I mean, in the Aransas Pass, in the Meadows. They're like, man, shit, let's go.
Hey, that game's going to be close. That game's going to be closer than we're thinking. I mean, just look at Ingleside. They struggled Mathis last week. Mathis doesn't have a great team. The last 2 seasons, they haven't had a great team. So I'm looking for Ingleside to still try and figure out what they're gonna do. The coach said they changed their offense a little bit, they changed their defense a little bit. So the kids got a learning curve to get over or to get past. And I think they got to figure that out this game and next game to be ready for the tough district that they're in. But I think Aransas pass, I mean, it's just like all or nothing for them when they play Ingleside. I don't know what it is. It's that game they got to win. So I feel like it's going to be a close one.
Yeah. Agreed.
Game number 3.
Hey Tony, I thought you were gonna stand up and rip your shirt off, but I was gonna see another purple shirt down there or something, man. I was like, what's he gonna do? He's setting up for something, and then he goes for the Mustangs. Hey, we'll see.
Well, the reason I did that because everyone was saying 3 touchdowns, big win.
Hey, I said 2.
Yeah,
I said 2.
I just think it's gonna be closer.
Yeah.
Game number 3. We have Sin Pirates versus the Carroll Tigers. I'm going to go to Johnny on this one. Who do you got?
I'm just going with sitting on this one. Just straight up sitting. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Okay.
Gabriel, who do you got, Gabriel?
Yeah, I've got to go with Sinton. Johnny talked about Carroll being competitive, and I think they will be. I think they're going to be better. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They got a pretty tough district, but I think they're going to be more competitive. I think they're getting they're on the right track to where they need to be that powerhouse they used to be way back in the day. When I remember Carroll, when I was in school, Carroll was they were a powerhouse, man. Nobody wanted to play the Carroll Tigers, but one thing, watching Sinton, they're real explosive, Tony and guys. I mean, and just like Rockport, we talk a lot about Rockport because we watch them, we're from Rockport, all the weapons, I pay a lot of attention to Sinton offensively, what they like to do in some of their weapons, and they have just about the same weapons. I mean, they utilize their quarterback so well. And now I think they've kind of allowed him to just kind of make the plays. I don't think you're going to do this. They let him go out there, here's the option, and then you go. You hand it off, you pass. I mean, I think it's been in this system. It's his last year in this system. I think the coach Troutman feels real comfortable. I mean, from what I've seen, I would probably do the same thing. This is a very dangerous quarterback, very dangerous. And, because there's so many things he can do. Puts a lot of pressure on your defense, man. And, they've got 2 running backs back there that are fast. They've got some receivers that can catch. They got a nice, good, strong offensive line. Carroll, they're just going to outmatch Carroll. They just don't have it this year. Carroll just don't have the team to be able to compete with Sinton. But I'm going to tell you, I'm with Johnny. I like Carroll. I think they're on the right track to. This coach is going to be doing something special here in the next few years, but I got to go Sinton. There's no way I can go against Sinton in this game.
Steve, who do you got, Steve?
Oh man, I tell you what, I don't know, man. Hey, listen, I don't know. Listen, I don't know about the Z man. I'm gonna tell you guys, I listen to Z-Man's every word and I hinge off of him, man. I go home, I'm like, man, Johnny said, watch out for Carroll. Let me write it down. Let me do some study. He sees something, because Johnny's all in. He's in the numbers. He's in the number. He's in the know. Now, why? For whatever reason, Johnny decides, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm taking Sinton. Like, what happened? Where's the change that come from? I thought you were dropping little nuggets of information about Carroll last week. And I was like, well, shit, they must be on the uprise. You know what? I'm not going to pick against. Man, hey, listen, God dang it. I tell y'all what, we're gonna see how the rest of these picks goes. And if the rest of these picks go the way I think they're gonna go, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna take Carroll to beat Sinton. Where's the game being played? First off, can somebody help me out?
I think
Let
it's
me
at Buck
see.
Stadium. I think it's in Corpus, Coach, but I'm not sure. I think I saw that it was going to be played. I think Sid had a road game this week.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
They play at
Okay.
Carroll, so it'll be probably at Cabinets or Buck Stadium.
Yeah. Well, I tell y'all what. If I'm allowed to change the rules of this format the way that we got going, and if at the end of the thing, and I see that all our picks lined up, I will come back and take Carroll for this game right here. Just because I believe Johnny was on to something, and he just didn't have. He's worried about winning. You can't be worried about losing, Johnny. That's me. I'm not worried about losing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not scared to pick a winner. So I'm gonna. So I want to come back to this pick to see where I'm at. I'm not scared, right? All that crap about not being scared, and I want to come back to pick this game. Man, you know what? Forget it. I take Carroll. Write it down.
Whoa.
Write it down, Johnny.
This is a Thursday night game too.
That's even better. That's even better. Carroll plays better on Thursdays than they do on Fridays. Don't y'all know that? Didn't it say that in your stats,
Hey, it's
Johnny?
true though. Those Corpus teams do play a lot of times on Thursdays.
Yeah. You're not far from the truth. Hey, listen, you know what? There's another. Obviously, there's another football fan in your house, Coach. And I wish, I'd like to ask Joey. Joey, do you think that your dad? Or would you pick Carroll over Sid? He'd probably say, not a chance.
Yeah. My dad's on that. He's on that bullshit. Yeah, no, man.
Hey, Coach, but you never know.
Sometimes you just gotta go with your gut. And I'm telling you, I'm following the Z-Man. He was leading me down this path of success.
Yeah.
And I hang on to all those little nuggets. I don't even think we were on air when Johnny said that. If I'm not mistaken, we were off air when Johnny said, watch out for Carroll. And I wrote that down in my little book. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna watch out for Carroll. So I went and checked them out. They looked the part. And you know what? I'm gonna take them right here. I'm coming back, baby.
Boy, I tell you what, man, that's a pick. That's one heck of a pick. But you heard it here on the Gridiron. Coach is going Carroll Tigers, showing some love to those Tigers. Woo.
Ooh.
Oh,
Hey, Tony.
I am going to agree. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll say that. Go ahead, T. Go ahead.
I am going to agree with Gabriel and Johnny. I'm going to go with Sinton. I just think there's too much firepower in Sinton.
Sure.
I think this is what's going to happen in Corpus. I think the pirate ship is going to land and take everything Corpus got on Thursday. It's going to happen again on Friday when Rockport comes into town. So they're going to get stunned by two pirate teams back-to-back days. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Sinton's going to take them on Thursday. Rockport's going to take them on Friday. And we're going to be spinning all the booty here in Rockport and Sinton that we take from Corpus. That's what I think is going to happen. Corpus is going to be missing something. We're going to take it.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So game number 4, and this is our game of the week, and also have some history the last 2 years. We got CC Vets versus the Miller Bucks. I'm going to go ahead and go with Steve first on this one since he gave us that wow pick.
Hey, listen. Then I picked against Vets. Hey, you know what? I'm a rock with Miller. I'm a rock with Miller. As bitter as that tastes coming off my tongue, I'm a rock with Miller. I think they're gonna win that game. Man, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if I want to put a score on it, man. I think Miller wins. You know what I'm saying? Flat out.
All right. So, Johnny, who do you got, Johnny, in this game? Tell me why.
Dude, I still haven't decided on that one. Dude, I think that's going to be a very, very great. I think it's going to be a very explosive offensive game. I think both teams are going to score above 35 points. I just.
So while you think about it, let me talk a little bit about the history. So last year, CC Vets flat out beat Miller, right? But the year before that, Miller beats CC Vets in the beginning of the year or the beginning of the season 50-43. And then they play again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, was that a playoff game? Yeah, it was a playoff game. They meet again in the playoffs. And CC Vets barely win by a touchdown, 56-49. So those two teams got
Tony,
history.
You broke up. Who won that last matchup?
Okay, so last year CC Vets flat out won. Last year they played each other one time. 2 years ago, Miller wins that game in the regular season by a touchdown. And then the playoffs they meet again, and CC Vets win that game by a touchdown. And that's because Miller almost tied that game. They threw the ball in the end zone and they missed it. If they catch that ball, they could tie or win that game in the playoffs. So it was a close game 2 years ago. They don't got the same quarterback, but neither does CC Vets. So they got those two teams have created hometown rivalry the last 3 or 4 years, and it's gonna be a good game. So Johnny, does that help you out a little bit with your decision?
No. Okay, so no disrespect to Alice.
Don't get me started.
I don't think the Vets came out to play against Alice. And just by the turnout from last year to this year, I was trying to look up what the score was from if they even played last year. But I don't think the Vets have that explosive offense like they did last year, just going by off that game. Again, no disrespect to Alice. It's just I don't think they have that power offense as years past. So because of that, and Miller just showing some high scoring already, and I think that game was already out of hand. It could have got even bigger. They're showing what their quarterback is made of now. We saw a little bit of them ourselves. And so I think I'm going to go with Miller just because their explosive offense compared to Vets' non-explosive offense.
Wow. I tell you what, if we would have been talking about this last year, that these picks would be a lot different. It's interesting, though. It's interesting. Gabriel, I'm interested to hear what you got, Gabriel.
You lose the coach, though. I mean, the coach is gone, right? I mean, the Vets don't have the coach. I mean, that's why I picked against him. I thought I had Alice in that game. I thought they were going to come out and get him. And so come to find out, I mean, they kind of hired in-house. Am I right, Gabriel? The Vets hired in-house. Yeah. So it wasn't a change of system. So that was, I didn't know. I didn't do enough digging into that to figure that out. So it wasn't a change of system, but it's still, I mean, it's hard to replace that head coach, you know what I'm saying? But,
Hey, Cal Allen won last week without Danaher on the sideline. So, I mean, is it the coach or, I mean, Danaher, what kind of effect he has on that team. And they had to play without him last Friday, and they had a big win. So, yeah. But you still got Miller, and you still got Miller, Johnny?
Sticking with Miller.
All right. Who do you got, Gabriel?
Hey, Tony, Coach, who did you pick?
Miller.
Coach got some. Y'all both got Miller, huh? This is a tough one. I might lose this one because my gut's telling me to go one way, but I'm going to go another. Who did Miller play in week 1?
Ray.
Ray. They Ray.
48-0.
Yeah, that doesn't say very much.
Hey, which isn't a whooping. You know how many points Miller can put up. You know what I'm saying? But I think they pulled.
Was that the game I said it was 31-0 at the half?
Yeah, no, they pulled back the reins, and who knows what they sent out there. They might have been playing against the cheerleader.
I'll tell you, Miller, Alice. So in week one, Vets had the tougher opponent in Alice than Miller did. Now, I've only seen Miller
Mhm.
one other time, and that was against Rockport. And not going to take anything away from the way they played, but we heard our coaches come out and say, we don't really put a lot into the scrimmages, right? We want to see what our players had to do. So we played okay. Um, I think I don't know. It's hard to make this decision because I don't know exactly what Betts has coming back from last year. But based off of week one, I'm gonna go with Betts over Miller. I know that Miller wants to beat Vets, but until Miller actually beats Betts, in a season, and they don't own that. Betts owns Miller up to this game. I'm gonna stick with the team. You want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And Miller hasn't they haven't owned it yet. So if they want that crown, then you got to come beat them on Friday. Until then, I'm gonna stick with the Eagles and veterans. I'm telling you, I said earlier. Remember this, guys. I said earlier, I don't know if I said on the podcast or we were off air, but I even think that Alice is going to beat Miller. And I said that I thought Alice might even be the second seed in that district behind Calhoun. Now, Calhoun had a big victory, so we'll wait and see. But I'm not so sure that, we'll see how Miller goes, but they're not as explosive as they were last year. They got weapons, but Vets always has weapons. So we'll see what happens. I'm sticking with the Eagles to beat Miller um, this Friday. We'll see what happens.
All right. I like your point. I like your point. Uh but what I will say, and I wanna kind of go at it the same way Johnny went at it. I don't want to say nothing bad about Alice, and I don't want to sound wrong, but just because we know the way CC Vets have played the last few years, just because they went into week one and didn't whip Alice gives me doubts about the firepower they actually have. And we did play Miller in the scrimmage, and I'll tell you what, it was tough. And Rockport's a good team. So because I see Miller go out there and stand toe to toe with Rockport, and Rockport beat them last year, and they went the furthest in their district last year. Miller went the furthest. They went further than Calhoun. They went further than Calhoun last year. Even though both those teams beat them, they ended up being the last dog standing from this area. So Miller, they lose Andrew Body, okay, but this quarterback, I mean, he was throwing some bombs. I mean, we were there. I mean, he's he hasn't made a name for himself yet, but I'm pretty sure the coaches were getting this guy ready because he looked like he was out there slinging that ball pretty damn good. And that offensive line, 300-pound guy, offensive line, every guy's 300 pounds. I said, shit, it's going to be tough for Vets to come in there and push those guys around. I'm gonna have to go with Miller on this game because like I said, I lost confidence in them when they just beat Alice. You know what I mean? They just beat them. I think if they were the Vets that we all are used to seeing, they should have really dominated that game. Because they didn't, I'm gonna have to go with Miller just because I seen Miller in action against a good Rockport team.
Let me just say this, guys. So let me get this straight. Miller puts a whip in. By the way, Rockport beat him last year, right? But that's last year. Miller puts a whipping on Ray, right? We put a whipping on Ray too. So Miller puts a whipping on Ray. And you know what? Before I go there, let me just say this. That quarterback that you're talking about at Miller, he's a sophomore. I had a guy, from Miller last year. I was talking. He said, "Listen, Andrew Body is a great, great quarterback, but he said, I'm going to tell you, this quarterback that's a freshman right now is coming. He's better than Andrew was
Careful.
when they were. He said this quarterback. I can't remember his name. He said this Miller fan told me. He said because my son plays football with him. Said when they were freshmen, this kid was better than Andrew Body was as freshmen. Now, that doesn't mean that this kid's going to be better because we knew what Andrew Body did. But when they were both freshmen, in other words, he was saying this kid is more advanced than Andrew Body was as a freshman, right?
Odem Brown.
Well, when we saw this quarterback against Rockport, man, this guy that was telling me wasn't far off. I mean, we saw what he could do. So, but I go back to this and I said, listen, you beat Ray, but how do we know that Alice isn't as good? That it's not Vets that's not as high power. This Alice team, we're probably underestimating this Alice team just a little bit. These guys, my surprises in the district. I mean, you know, I don't think it's necessarily that Vets isn't as good, and we'll find out against Miller. But I really think this Alice team, they're hungry, and they really got a good defense, and they can play some football. And I think that Alice, you know, I don't think they're gonna beat Cal Allen, but I tell you, I think they can beat Calhoun. We'll see how Calhoun continues to do, and we'll see about Miller, because I'm not convinced that Alice can't beat Miller in that playoff. That's gonna be another good one. So, man, that win that Miller got against Ray didn't impress me at all. And the scrimmage, you know, I would have gone with it, but then I heard what our coaches said, you know, and how they prepared for it. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm listening to what the coaches are saying. I don't know how much I want to put into that. And Miller, they were better last year with Body, and they didn't beat Vets. So unless Vets, they lost a coach, like you said, Tony, but unless Vets lost a lot of key players, and they always got athletes, I think this team will come back and they'll win. I don't think they'll blow Miller out. The Miller's explosive. But I think what's going to happen to Miller is they're going to get better as the season goes with this quarterback.
Well, I'll say this, though. They didn't beat Vets last year. They played Vets early in the season, in the preseason last year. Okay. But remember, we're talking about a Miller team that got better as the season progressed. Remember, they lost to Cal Allen, and they lost to Calhoun, and they had a shootout with Beeville. It was like 80-something to 70-something or something like that against Beeville. So they were scoring a lot of points and giving a lot of points up. They weren't that explosive when they played CC Vets, and then they end up going deeper in the playoffs than even Cal Allen did last year. So, you know, you lose Andrew Body, but you get a young Jaden Brown come in, and he's slinging a ball behind another 300-pound line like Body had last year. And they still got that same running back that he's a junior this year. You know what I mean? That you can give the ball to whenever you need to give the receivers a break. You know what I mean? And he's tough. He's tough to take down. He is tough to take down. We saw how strong he is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the Vets are going to have their hands full with that 300-pound line and that Jaden Brown. He's pretty accurate. We saw it. Defensively, they were all over the place. You know what I mean? It was tough for us to get some of our runs going. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, I don't know. I think Miller comes in and they're too much for CC Vets this week. That's
the only thing I'm gonna say left on this, guys, is that I think Miller. What's impressed me so far early on is the defense. Their defense this year is a lot better early on the season than they were last year. And if that defense continues to play the way I saw them in the scrimmage against Rockport, then watch out for Miller, because they're going to score points. Last year, what they didn't have, they had to outshoot everybody, they had to outscore everybody, right? Because their defense just couldn't hold nobody last year. This year, that defense is different. That defense can hold some good offenses. And because that defense can now hold offenses, that offense is going to get better. Watch out, because that's what's going to make Miller real scary.
Yep. Well, here's the thing about, all right, you know, well, you know, I'm not going to change my pick, but, you know, since we're talking about Miller's defense, so their front line is solid. They put pressure on the quarterback and they make it tough to run, but they can be scored on too. You know what I'm saying? I saw enough plays to say, hey, you know what? They can get scored on. I mean, obviously, when Rockport scored on them, I believe it was against their second team. I don't know if Rockport ever scored against their first team defense, but you know,
that's that one where Devin landed on the guy's chest and stood up and ran by himself. That was on the first team.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, hey, well, I guaranteed if you know, if I had the little chat with their coaches. I guarantee you, they're like, oh, their whistle should have been blown, or they heard a whistle, or something like that. They're going to discredit that run altogether. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a. We'll see what it do, man.
All right. Well, that I just want to say, folks, that's why that's the game of the week. We had a big talk about it, and that's why it's the game of the week. So really check out that game. We'll be looking for that score Friday night. The next game we have on our list is Calhoun versus Jordanton. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Johnny first on this one.
Man, I tried to dig on this one. Jordan's a little stronger this year than last year.
Yeah,
but they did have a great season last year too. Just because they lost against Calhoun last year, I think it was pretty easy, something like 50-30 or something like that. Jordanton was kind of like a Miller a couple years ago. You know, they started off slow, and they're not scared of facing Calhoun. You know, they're on the schedule again. Jordanton went 3 rounds into the playoffs last year. And last week they played against Natia, and they barely lost by 6 points, which is impressive from the year before. I think Natia scored like 49 points on them last year. And it's Natia school is not a joke. I mean, they got kicked out of the playoffs from Franklin last year. So that was a close game. They lost, just because we're 0-1. Jordan's a big school, but it's hard to pull away from Calhoun after the performance last year, man. I just can't do it. I try to dig deep on this. I just can't do it. I know some of us were already going opposite ways. I just got to get opposite from Tony here some way, somehow. But yeah, the Calhoun rushing last week was just too much to go against for now. But I don't see them taking it easily against Jordanton this year. I think this is going to be a little tighter game than they played last year. This ain't going to be a blowout. If I wanted to say a score, I would say probably like a good 42 to I wouldn't say 35, maybe closer to 28, probably.
42, about 2 touchdowns, 12 or 14 points, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me say this. You talk about that final score last year, 56-35. But if you look at the halftime score, it was 21-14 Jordanton. Jordanton was ahead at the half. I don't know what happened in the second half that, Calhoun came out and scored 35 points. But Jordanton wasn't done scoring either. They still scored 14 points in the end of that game in the fourth quarter. So, like I said, I don't know what happened in that third quarter where, Calhoun pulls away. But Jordanton had the lead going into the half by a touchdown. So, like you said, they went 3 rounds into the playoffs, and losing to Natalia is not, being 0-1 going into this game is not saying a whole lot about Jordanton. But having said that, I'm going to go to you next, Steve. Who do you got?
Hey, well, I tell you what, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm kind of old, and maybe my memory failed me, but I think Jordanton was picked to finish maybe second in their district. You know what I'm saying? By others. So I mean, I don't take them lightly. I think they're a good program down there. But I'm gonna ride with Epi. I think Epi's gonna do big things that down here this year, for the Coastal Bend. I think he's gonna put his stamp on this game, and if they cut him loose, if they truly cut him loose, I'm scared. I'm scared to even put up a score, and how much these guys can rack up. So, I'm going Calhoun on this one.
Gabe, who do you got, Gabe?
Calhoun.
Calhoun all the way.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm gonna shake the tree on this one. Just
Come on,
because,
Tony.
just because
Don't take me down this long ass
Jordan-
road, Tony.
just because Jordanton could have easily kept that lead and put that game away last year. We know Cal Allen graduates 20 or 30 seniors last year. Yes, they had a running back who rushed for over 200 yards or something like that last week.
300.
300 yards. Okay, there you go. 300 yards. I still I think I felt like, and this was my game of the week. This was my game of the week, just going off of last year's game. But I got voted out with the Miller and Betts game, but that's all right. I'm gonna go with Jordanton. I'm gonna shake the tree, and I'm gonna go with Jordanton on this game. Just because of last year. Now I know Cal Allen's ranked, in the top 10 in the state, and Jordanton, that 3A district. I mean, they don't got them teams ain't pushovers. You can get some of those 3A teams that could beat some 5A teams, and I think Jordanton's one of them teams. So I'm gonna go with Jordanton. I'm going to shake that tree. I think Jordanton makes their schedule tough in the preseason to get ready. I mean, they finished 11-2 last year, something like that. Their only losses was to Cal Allen and when they got knocked out of the playoffs. So I'm gonna go with Jordanton.
Now, okay, you're talking about this halftime score last year. How have you known an offensive team that runs the ball? What do they do? What do they do to the defense? Especially if they run. What do they do to the defense? They wear them down. And that's what Calhoun does. They wear them down in the second half. Wear them down. What was the game of Calhoun this past week at halftime? 20-12. 20-12. And what happened at the end? I just had to throw that in. there. But keep your pick.
Jordanton, even if that's the case, Jordanton still scored 14 more points in the end of that game last year. So they weren't done scoring. They weren't done after the first half. They played. They just Cal Allen had a lot of weapons last year. Now we're talking about one running back. You contain one guy and you control their offense. You know what I mean? And Jordanton's not a pushover, you know what I mean? So, they got some big boys over there. I mean, I remember watching them highlights last year. They got some big boys in Jordanton, big boys. So we'll see. I'm shaking the tree.
Hey, that's great. I'm glad y'all want to shake the tree. Just make sure y'all don't get too far behind that you can't catch up. Keep track because you don't want to get too far behind.
Can't get there. You already opened the door with your last pick, and by my accounts, I'm over here trying to figure it out. Okay, so now Tony dropped the game. I'm catching up. I mean, and depending on Z-Man, if Z-Man ever picks anybody other than whatever his 8-ball is saying, that little 8-ball shaker, who's gonna win this week? If Z-Man ever picks anybody else outside of the 8-ball thing, I don't know. I might catch him too.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna say this about Cal Allen. Cal Allen is built with the offensive line. Anybody they can get an average running back, and as long as they got that line, that's how Phil Danaher has always run his offense. But this year, I don't know about the Inhosa kid, but I've heard Coach Steve talk about him, and now they seem that they really got a running back. So when you put that line like that with a guy now that can actually run and knows how to run, this makes them very, very dangerous. So Jordanton, they might be able to upset. It's not like Cal Allen's never been upset before, especially early on in the season. But I just think with the running back that he had over 300 yards last week and the way that we're accustomed to seeing him, it's going to be a tough task for Jordanton. Where are they going to play, Tony? In Jordanton, or did you say it was in Cal Allen, right?
Yes, it looks like they're playing in Cal Allen.
But I love the guts, man. I love the guts. You're showing some love outside of the coastal, man. I love the guts.
Hey, listen. And they are not. Cal Allen is not a one horse pony show. Those guys are not. Okay, I mean, Epi jumped out, and there were big chunk plays. You know, like Z-Man brought to the stats. I mean, there were chunk plays. So I mean, you know, that's not always going to happen. They're going to grind it out and they're going to pound it. You know, Epi's not going to always have 300 yards rushing, but I tell you what, it's there. The threat is there. And then they got the other guys coming in, feeling, man, hey, listen, I like Kyle out. They're not a one-horse pony show.
No, it's gonna be good. But hey, I like Tony going out there, man. You never know if Jordan 10 upsets Calhoun, we all better be sick next Monday. We don't want to face Tony because we ain't never gonna hear the end of it. You think I'm bad? It's gonna really get bad. So let's hope and pray that Calhoun wins that game. Otherwise, Tony's gonna be calling us after that. He's gonna be looking for us at the game on Friday. Where are these guys at?
Put his ass on mute.
All right, y'all. So game number 6, I got Alice versus Victoria East. I'm going to go with Gabe. Who do you got, Gabe?
This is a tough one, man. You know, the Victoria schools are always tough. And I think it's the Victoria. Which school is the tougher out of the two? Is it East or West, Johnny? I know Johnny knows.
West.
East, yeah.
I thought it was West.
Well,
who they playing?
I think it's the Titans. The Titans are East. I think it's East.
Yeah, it's the Titans. It's East, Victoria East. Listen, this is gonna be a good one. And this is a tough one for me. This one I might get wrong, but I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna go with the Alice Coyotes. No, you know what? I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna go with the Victoria East Titans. I think Victoria is going to. I almost let it slip, man, but this is gonna be a good one. But I'm gonna go with Victoria. They got some athletes out there. You know, my gut tells me to go to Alice though. There's something that keeps nagging at me about that. I've got to pay more attention to Alice because it's that defense. I love that Alice defense. There's just something about that defense, man. They're hungry, and I liked what I saw against Betts. And I should go with Alice, but I'm going to stick with Victoria East.
All right. Got you down for Victoria East. I'm going to go ahead and let Johnny inspire Steve, and I'm going to go to Johnny next. Who do you got?
So I mentioned about no disrespect to Alice earlier, so I'm going to reverse it here on this. So just because they played so good against the Vets, such a tight game is showing that they're actually a real team this year. Victoria East losing to Columbia last week, 41-32. I don't see the East pulling this against Alice. I think Alice is on a roll this year. I think they're, as Gabriel was saying, they're going to do something this year in the district. So I'm going to go with Alice on this one.
All right. So we got one for Alice and one for Victoria East. Steve, you're on mute. Who do you got?
I tell you what, and I want you guys to rewind this tape and listen to it all the way through from the beginning to the end. If I had a nickel for every time one of you guys, I'm pointing at the screens, one of you guys mentioned Alice, the word Alice came out of you guys' mouth, I tell you what, I'd be a rich man. I'd be about, I don't know, $1.55, fuck richer. But what I'm saying, get out of the screen. Get over there. I ride with Alice. I'm gonna stick with Alice. We're gonna ride or die. Like Gabriel said, we're gonna do a live stream from Alice sooner or later. And I want you guys down in Coyote Country, recognize this face right here. I'm gonna come down there. I've been your guys' true supporters. I've been the only guy that had your back today. I convinced Johnny to come over and wear the burnt orange, but I got Alice. All
right. Well,
one thing I wanted to add to that, I knew there was something that really convinced me more about Alice on this one. Unless Columbia is a powerhouse this year, Columbia only had a 4-5 record last year. So that's telling me that Victoria East played not such a great team to lose last week. So that was my turnaround on that one. And the Alice playing a great team that we've always known to. You know, you're comparing the Vets to Columbia here. That's the matchup I was looking at. So that was the reason why I went with the Alice on this one.
Well, so
Hey,
this
Tony,
is what I don't
Tony,
understand.
Tony,
This
hey,
is
Tony,
yeah. Go
Tony.
ahead.
Before you make your pick, what was Rockport's? I just want to. I'm not trying to influence you. I'm just saying, what was Rockport's record last year?
Oh man, you
Look it
got
up.
me.
Look it up, Tony. Look it up.
I'm
Look
gonna
it
have
up.
go ahead and go with your point. I'm looking it up.
Well, that's just
Yeah,
my
go.
point. Before you make your pick, I just want you to look at Rockport's total record last year. I can't remember what it is.
They were 6-5.
Okay, go ahead. Go with your pick.
What the hell? What was that all about? Bert, you just embarrassed us on the World Wide Web for nothing.
This is what I'm gonna say. Gabriel talked that whole talk during the game of the week about CC Vets and how he thinks they're gonna beat Miller, and we've all seen Miller play. What we haven't seen
I think Alice
play.
is going to beat Miller, not Vets. I think Alice is going to.
Okay.
Oh, you talking about this week coming up?
Yeah, you're talking about Vets are gonna beat Miller. Okay.
Yes.
And Alice just played that team that you said is gonna beat Miller, and they almost beat them. And now we're talking about a Victoria East team that lost last week. And I want to retract when I said which team was the better team. Victoria West beat them 50-20 last year. So I just want to make sure I retract that comment about East being better. West did beat them 50-20 last year.
See, I got some misinformation.
Huh? Yeah, because West also gave Flower Bluff some hell too last year. That's right. It was the West team last year.
Now, okay. See, now here's the deal. You're running the show today, Tony. Do I get a chance? Because now that I was misinformed. Okay, y'all got to take a vote. If not, I'll take the loss. Do I get to change it or not? Because I thought that was the better.
You can change it. We have till the end of the show. We have till the end of the show to make our changes. So if you want to make a change, you still can.
Well, I'm gonna make it because I know there's one Victoria team that's real good, and I know one that's really, really bad.
Damn it, I was being hushed, dude. Dang it.
and I couldn't remember. And man, I've been sick, so I didn't check it. So if that's the bad Victoria team, then I'd rather change it and go to the other team.
Man, Tony.
Because that Victoria team, Tony, is bad. It's bad. One of those Victoria teams can't win at all. But I know there's one that's real good. So I'm gonna have to change it and go to the other team. Thank you for letting me know, guys.
So you have Alice. Okay, so check it out. Even if Alice was playing West, I'm still gonna go with Alice. That's not what's happening. But if that was the case, I would still go with Alice just because of the way they played against the Vets last week. I'm going with Alice, whether they combine teams and they try to beat them. I don't care. I'm still gonna go with Alice. So if we ever live stream an Alice and you see me and Steve, just remember that I'm with y'all too.
Hey, well, look, y'all can step in Alice. I'll just have to go a couple of more miles up front, and I'll go down there where I'm loved over there in Vaquero country because it's just a few miles up from Alice. So y'all stay there. I'll just keep chunking a couple more miles, and I'll hit San Diego.
All right. So there you go. That was all in favor of Alice in that game. So number 7, we got Calhoun Sand Crab versus Stafford. Remember, Calhoun's coming off of a very, very big win against a really tough Navarro team. I'm gonna go with Johnny on this one first. What do you got, Johnny?
Can we back up? I just want to back up what you said earlier.
Okay.
About you would pick the West.
I would pick Alice if they played West.
Oh, okay.
I would still pick Alice.
Okay.
I would still pick Alice. If the West and the East combined teams to make a super team, I would still go with Alice.
Oh Lord.
Ew.
Oh Lord. Hey man.
Hey, wait.
Tony,
What did
I'm gonna let y'all know.
I miss?
the West might be the downward team of this year though. The East might be the better team.
Oh,
Because
come on now, man.
they lost against they lost against Lockhart last week. Lockhart didn't win a game last year.
That means they had a rebuilding year. That's all
In
that
fact,
means.
I think that was Lockhart's first win in 3 years, 3 years. And they beat Victoria West.
So
Rebuilding year.
Okay, now what were we?
I got you first. Calhoun versus Stafford. Who do you got?
Ooh. This one was kind of hard. But knowing that we all went Navarro last week, Calhoun pulled this off, and obviously they got two guys that stepped up in the backfield. I'm going to go with Calhoun on this one. Yeah, I'm going with Calhoun this one. Stafford didn't look too bad last week either, losing against Eggleton 34-32.
Yeah.
So this might be a good one. This could be a good one too. But I'm going to go with Calhoun just because the performance they had against Navarro. I mean, yeah.
All right. So Gabriel, who do you got?
Who'd you say Stafford lost to? Angleton?
Yes.
Angleton's always good every year, man. That's a tough team there. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Calhoun. They're the Coastal Bend team. They're the team that we follow, and they haven't given me a reason not to. I think they had an impressive win over Navarro because I think Navarro is gonna go deep in the playoffs. They do every year. It was an impressive win. It was only week 1, but I'm gonna go with Calhoun.
All right. Steve, who do you got, Steve?
Hey, Tony, hey, listen, I apologize to all you guys. My service dropped. I don't know what happened. But just to summarize real quick, that last pick, where did everybody go?
Alice.
Yeah, Alice.
You there?
Everyone went to Alice. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Alice.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, he mute. Okay, now can you hear us, Steve?
Hello?
Can you hear us? No, he can't hear us.
All right. Well, Gabriel, did you ever take your pick? You said
Yes,
you
I
were
went
going
Calhoun.
Calhoun as well?
Can hear you.
No?
I went Calhoun. Right, it was Calhoun and Stafford, right?
Yep, Calhoun and Stafford. Okay, so I got you down for Calhoun.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know what's up.
So I'm gonna go just off of what Johnny said and what you said. We all thought Navarro was gonna pull it off, but they didn't. Calhoun, I want to say Calhoun stunned me. I want to say I was stunned by that score. And because they stunned me, because they were capable of stunning me with a win over Navarro, I just find it hard to pick against them right now, especially coming off of a win of a team that went 3 or 4 rounds deep in the playoffs last year, and they had the last couple of years. I think I'm going to have to go with Calhoun on this pick as well. All right. Steve will probably be back with us in a minute. I'm going to go ahead.
He's trying to fix the issue.
Well, we'll come back to him on that Calhoun pick, but I'm going to move it along to the Westoso versus Taft. It's our 8th game in this week, episode number 2 of the Gridiron. Our last game before the state game is Westoso Bears versus the Taft Greyhounds. I'm going to go with you first, Gabriel, because I know you got some family over there in Taft. Who do you got?
Going Greyhounds, baby. Greyhounds. After what I heard, I was going to go Greyhounds no matter what. And Then I heard what Coach Hamrick had to say. It's all Greyhounds on Friday, baby. All Greyhounds.
All right. Johnny, who do you got, Johnny?
Dude, I wanted to pick West also. I wanted to. Dude, they played a good game against Odem. I like that. I know they're gonna do something. I know they're a better team as they're getting along. But I'm gonna have to go with the Greyhounds. They had a pretty impressive win last week against Woodsboro, 45-7. But
Talking about Woodsboro.
I think Taft is gonna squeak by this one. I'll give it up to Taft, but it's gonna be a squeaker, and this could be an overtime game. I'm throwing this one the overtime game of the week right here.
Let me see. I'm just trying to look. I want to say they played each other last year, and I'm trying to look into that real quick, just to give y'all some, just in case I want to change y'all's mind. Let's see.
I'm going strong.
So last year, Taft was 8-4, and Taft was hot last year. Y'all remember? Okay, so last year Taft did defeat West Oso 28-6. So, oh man, I got a cousin playing at West Oso. He's a senior this year. He's a linebacker and a running back. So I'm gonna get this pick because I'm not gonna be able to pick West Oso in the regular season because they're in our district, in a very tough district. I don't know if it's gonna be tough for them to get a win. So I'm gonna give them this win in the preseason against Taft. I'm gonna go with West Oso. Steve, are you back with us? Can you hear us?
I'm back. Can you give me a quick recap? I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, so game number 7, Calhoun versus Stafford. All of us went Calhoun so far. We're waiting on you to pick. Who do you got?
I got Calhoun.
You got Calhoun all the way, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. So we got 2 Tafts. We got Johnny Taft. Johnny's saying the game's going into overtime because he likes the way they played against Odem last week.
Yeah.
The way West Elsa played against Odem. And then Gabriel said he has too many family members over there that he's going to go with Taft all the way. So who do you got? I got West Oso. I picked before you got back on, so I already win. I picked West Oso because I got a cousin. He's a senior, middle linebacker, running back. So I'm going to give him a preseason win.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen. So I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was like early in the season. I know we did our pre-things, and I took West Oso because lo dejaste your family solo. They were over there by themselves. They were wanting, and then somebody to pick them. So okay. So I'm glad that I came on right now, and I'm good. I'm glad to hear that you picked West Oso. So, and it kind of takes me off the hook now. And I'm able to go free and pick freely. You know what I'm saying? So here's my thing. So, I got to ride with Johnny now, right? So I got to ride with Johnny, because I didn't do well in high school, but, my math tells me that I'm creeping up now. I'm 1 game behind Johnny right now because, just by doing the picks, right? Just trying to figure it out. So if Johnny ever came out of the, like we talked about earlier, so right now I'm gonna ride with Johnny, and I'm gonna take Taft. You know what I'm saying? Although there's more than that. I mean, those guys play hard down there, and they earned themselves the victory over Odem. And I think Odem's a great team, and they always fight hard. So I'm gonna ride with Taft. Thank you for letting me off the hook with the West Oso, and now everything is right in the world. You know what I'm saying? Your family can they're gonna see this and hey, gracias, thank you for taking West Oso. They were probably already writing you out of the will over there. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, but I'm gonna go with Taft.
Well, let me just say this real quick. The coach is probably, getting prepared for this game. And he's probably telling his guys after every practice, he's probably telling them, hey, guys, it's going to be tough for us to get a district win. So we got to win these preseason games. These guys are going to play hard against Taft. Taft brought it to them last year. We got some of these guys that are seniors that it's their last time playing in the Bear Den. I played in the Bear Den. I know what it's like, final season. And I think that they know how tough it is going to be to get a win in the district. They know it's going to be tough. Sinton, Rockport, Ingleside, those Valley teams coming in, they know it's going to be tough, and they know that they're going to have to play these preseason games hard to get ready for that tough district play that they have coming ahead in 2 or 3 weeks. So I think they found their holes in their offense and their defense against Odem, and Odem usually has a good program. I think Odem won district last year and probably the last couple of years. So and they played a good game against Odem last week. So I think West Oso might be onto something. So I'm not taking them to make the playoffs, but I think that they're going to be good enough to beat some of these smaller schools, and I think they're going to be able to beat Taft. So, anyways, that's my pick. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. I just want to let y'all know that you can't underestimate West Oso on week number 2. Okay, so our final game. Does anybody have any other thoughts on that? No.
Nope.
All right. Our final game is our state game. And we got number 1, Austin Westlake versus number 7, Trinity Trojans. I'm going to go ahead and go with Johnny first on this one. I think this was his pick for the state game of the week. I'm gonna let you fill us in with some information. Who do you got?
Well, Austin Westlake, it's hard to go against them. They're always the big powerhouse, and they're the bigger school powerhouse. They're coming off a win against Temple last week, 54-13, which is pretty impressive. They're not afraid about setting up a schedule. They've been known to do this, and they've been known to go preseason undefeated. They've been known to play out of state in times past. Trinity, there is two teams in Trinity. One's a regular Trinity, this is Trinity Ulysses. This is the higher, better team. They did climb up a rank, so now they're number 6 this week. This is going off Dave Campbell's state rankings, by the way. I believe their state rankings more better than your Max Prep.
Max Prep.
So Trinity last week, they beat Lamar 45-27, which kind of, I guess, impressed. That's why they went up on the rankings. I just think Austin Westlake has too much power. Their explosive offense. I can't go with a bigger school. I mean, they're both big schools, but I think I'm just going to go with tradition over this one.
So who do you got? Westlake?
Austin Westlake, yes.
Steve, who do you got, Steve?
Yeah. All right. Well, here it goes. And I thought I'd draw some separation right here, but Johnny, keep it close to the vest. Johnny, keep it. Man, I'm gonna have to ride with him. I'm gonna stay with Johnny. You know what I'm saying? Next at week 3, I'll be 1 game behind Johnny. It looks like that's how it's gonna play out. So just to keep a close ties with him, I'm gonna ride with Johnny on this one.
All right. Gabriel, what is your thought on this game? Who do you got?
Well, I'm going Austin Westlake.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, let me tell you something about Austin Westlake. I know last week, we had the South Lake Carroll and Highland Park game as the game of the week for state. Well, when I was digging into this, Austin Westlake is the team that beat South Lake Carroll last year. Is that correct? In state, Austin Westlake's the one that beat them. So, we talked about how powerful South Lake Carroll is, and now we're talking about the team that beat them with the quarterback that left. The superstar quarterback the one that they had them last year, and they still lost. So, how was it going to be? How foolish would it be to pick against that team? It's tough. It's tough to pick against a team that beat a powerful South Lake Carroll. So, to me, easily it's Austin Westlake all the way on this one. Trinity is a great team. They're tough. They're tough in their district. I think they're a 5A school, right, Trinity?
No,
Or
they're
are they
6A.
6A? They're 6A also? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's tough. It's tough to pick against Austin Westlake. I mean, like I said, they beat South Lake Carroll last year, and I think that they're going to be tough to beat. I think they win state again this year. I think Austin Westlake repeats state titles this year. I'm going to call it in week 2. Austin Westlake's winning state in 6A.
Bam.
All right. So that's all we have on our 8 games and our 1 state game. So what I want to do now, we're going to do something interesting because Steve said he wanted us to go back to him on a specific game. So before we end this and close this, I want to go back to you, Steve, on that Carroll Sinton game. So do you feel comfortable enough with your picks that you're going to go with Carroll, or you got Sinton? You said to come back to you on this pick. Who do you got?
Yeah, you know what? Well, here it is, Tony.
You
I
said
did
you're
say
ahead
that. No, I could. That would push me ahead. But you know what? No. Here's the thing. I said it. We can rewind the video. I was on the fence. La cerca. I was on the fence. But no, I'm gonna ride with him. I'm gonna stay with my pick.
You got Carroll.
That's right.
Okay. All right. So, Gabriel, I'm going to go ahead and let you close the show, Gabriel.
All right, guys. Well, this concludes week 2 preview here on the Gridiron 64, the schedule. We'll be back next Monday to see how well we did. One of the things before we close is I think, does anybody know, go out? Does anybody, I'm sorry, I'll do that on Wednesday. Tomorrow is when I'll bring this up. So we're going to have our polls up starting tomorrow. All of these games that we talked about and broke down or actually previewed, they'll be on our Gridiron Twitter page and Facebook page. So we'll go up there, be looking at it. I can't guarantee it'll be early in the morning or in the afternoon, but progressively, I'm going to try to get them all up by nightfall tomorrow, all on tomorrow on our pages. So go out and vote. It'll be the games that we broke down here. We'll put the polls up and then let the fans, the Gridiron 64 followers, vote. If there's a team that you love, show your love to the team. If you want to comment, you can comment. There's a section on our Facebook and Twitter where you can comment. But if not, please vote. We want to see who's voting for who. And so you heard here on the Gridiron who the teams are, the 9 teams that we'll be talking about that we previewed and we'll be breaking down next week. So be looking out for that tomorrow. Also, next Monday, we will have our second coach of the season join us on the Gridiron 64 podcast. It'll be Coach Cameron Cox. He's the offensive coordinator for the the #1 state-ranked Refugio Bobcats. He'll be here on the podcast next Monday at 7:30. So the guys are going to have some great questions for Coach Cox, and tune in to hear what he's got to say about his #1 state-ranked Refugio Bobcats, and can these guys win the state title this year? So tune in to that this upcoming Monday. Coach Cameron Cox, Refugio Bobcats offensive coordinator. So that's going to be interesting, guys. This was a great. I enjoyed it again. Being able to preview these games has been great. I've sent out week 3 to you guys. When you guys get a chance, send me your list back. Hopefully, I'll continue to feel better and get stronger every day. I don't know yet if I'll be able to record. Hopefully, I feel good enough and have gotten rid of this cough that I can go and live stream the game on Friday. I'm being told that I should, if the wind is blowing, my cough could continue to get worse, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm not sure yet if I'll be able to stream it, simply because I'll have to wait and see till Thursday. I'm taking some medication. I never take medication, but I've been taking medication around the clock. Hopefully I'll feel better and get rid of this cough. It seems like it's going away a little bit, but if not, I'll have to just apologize, but I'll have to, and I'll send out something on social media pages. I won't be able to stream it, and I'll let you guys know by Thursday. But if not, hopefully by the next week, I'll be back on. So we'll see what happens. But guys, I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. We had a great time. Send me your list for week 3, and also let me know which coach you want to, reach out to for week number 3. So until then, guys, thank you very much. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, as we'll be doing another podcast tomorrow starting at 7. Have a great night, guys. Peace out.
Thank you.